Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Trace. Today I'm going to be talking about the new movie Firestarter that is now in theaters and on Peacock, starring Zac Efron. If you're at all interested in movie-related discussions, movie reviews, skits, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. So going into this movie, I only saw the first trailer, and I knew that it was based off an older Stephen King movie and book with Drew Barrymore, I believe, but I never watched the first Firestarter, and I didn't want to watch it before watching this movie just because this movie was just right around the corner, and I really didn't want anything to compare it to. I wanted to go into this with a fresh set of eyes, with nothing to compare it to. The book, the movie, nada. And I'm glad I did, because even with not having anything to compare it to, it's not a terrible movie, but it's definitely a forgettable movie. And I think my biggest issue with this is I just feel like Zac Efron was just miscast in this role in this movie. I loved seeing him in a thriller horror type movie like this. I would love to see him in more stuff like this. You know, he did the Ted Bundy movie for Netflix. It was great seeing him in a role like that. You know, for a while he did a string of just kind of dumb comedies, and I enjoy those types of movies, but it's good to see him, you know, kind of branch out as an actor a little bit more, especially with his Netflix series of him kind of traveling the globe. You know, I like seeing actors do different stuff like that, but for this, the role just didn't work for him. And I mean, that's just my personal belief. I know that the guy's in his 30s, but I'm not seeing him as a father figure yet for some reason. I don't know if anyone else had that problem, but I saw him more as like still an older brother, and maybe, you know, he's trying to break away from that type of stigmatism, but I just didn't see him in a fatherly role that he's supposed to be playing, and I just didn't believe it. Now, the child actor herself, she's a way better actor than I'll ever be, but there was nothing that made her stand out, I should say, and made me go afterwards, wow, she is going to be taking off from here on out. I mean, she did a great job, better than I'll ever do, but she didn't stand out. And the dialogue in this movie just felt choppy, and it's kind of weird to say, but I definitely felt it as a streaming movie. This didn't seem like a movie that was ever meant for theaters, even though right now it is in theaters, but watching it on Peacock felt like a safer bet. My last little gripe about this movie, and I really don't know if this happens in the book or if this happens in the original Firestarter movie, but the ending didn't sit well with me. I did not like the ending at all.
And this goes on and back and forth for 90 or so minutes until the movie just sort of ends.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just didn't really like the ending, and I don't know if this is an ending that has already been like canon in the past. I'm not sure. But going along with some of the positives, this movie does have a really good pace. I never really felt too bored at any point in the movie. It starts off, it sets up the plot within the first couple seconds, within the first 3 minutes of the movie, which I love when movies do that, instead of waiting 10 or 15 minutes into the movie to actually figure out what's going on with this plot. And from there, it just moves. It goes. If animal cruelty or animal deaths or anything like that is something that immediately turns you off, there is an animal death in this movie of a cat. So it's about midway through the movie, and if that's just something that hits home for you, or it's tough to see those sort of depictions, then you might want to skip past that part. One more thing that I really liked about this movie is when she is, the little girl, when she is burning people and using her powers on people, there was a couple times that they did a close-up shot of the person being burned, and they got hit with a blast, but they're not dead yet. You know, it's not instant, and I would hate to die by fire, but you can see that they're still in pain, and you can see their flesh falling off. So Firestarter by no means is going to be the worst movie of the year for me, but it's definitely going to be one of the most forgettable movies of the year for me. If you like this review, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Hopefully this movie sparks more interest for you than it did for me.
Star Wars,